All right. Well, this was actually going to be a live stream. That was the intention behind it. However, I did not activate my YouTube to go live just yet, and it's given me a 24-hour waiting period for it to be approved. However, it's not a problem. I'm going to release this anyway with the intention of getting some of that introductory information across that I wanted to get across today. But I'll start off with just going, hey, my name's Patrick Webb if you haven't met me before. But for those who know me, you know that I'm a creative photographer, cinematographer, and just all-round creative and problem solver. So getting that out of the way, I wanted to do a few announcements that is in conjunction with some creative projects that I've got going on, as well as sparking some new initiatives. My good friend Emil Anderson, who has Dog Eyes, another channel that I'm following here, that I'm going to do some cooperative shows with him, which should be interesting. To announce that one, it's going to be called, this little show, A Pitch to the Ether. Now, the intention for this is to create a show where we do movie pitches. So this is kind of with the intention of being able to refine our skills to be able to pitch movie ideas and to get it under a certain amount of time, and to be able to be clear and concise when we're doing these pitches, but also to put that out there into the community and see where other creatives are in their skills in doing this, or if they actually might find it interesting, go, hey, you know what? I'm in Norway, or I'm in Europe, or I'm wherever, and I'm able to come to you guys and create this or invest in it or whatever it is. I'm kind of open here with this intention. Primarily, it's based about us getting better as the business side of the movie industry, and particularly with the way that the world's going right now. I think it's nice just to be able to involve and see how we can improve our communication and then be able to create cinema, because that's the language of the language of our time, to be able to encompass music, sound, motion picture styles, all that kind of stuff. I don't need to introduce it, you guys know it. But that's a really exciting initiative that we're going to get started up there, and we are just, at the moment, we're in this transition period where there are so many strange things happening, both financially, spiritually, philosophically, politically, all of these kind of things that we just need to stay focused. We need to stay creative and to stay on that higher vibration. And that's kind of my intention here, to be able to go, hey, you know what? Let me be the advocate for this higher vibration and to keep the creative industry on point. You know, there are vast numbers of people that work in the creative industry, but in my local creative industry, there's only so much I can do. However, just by adding that little bit of positivity, that little bit of encouragement, saying, yes, you can do it. Anyone can do it. I can do it. You can do it. We can all do it. And for the sake of cinema, to be able to create this. So yeah, that's kind of like my next part of developing my channel here, as well as working with fellow creatives here in Norway, but also in Europe, the rest of the world. Doesn't really matter where you are. And, you know, we have the blessings of the internet and all of its powers and aeroplanes and all of that kind of stuff for the time being, so we might as well use it. And it also gives a chance for people who are not directly connected to the cinema industry or the movie making industry or whatever it is, to kind of get a little bit of an insight and maybe some inspiration about what we do. And maybe you know somebody who's got some money that would like to invest in this project because you believe it could be culturally significant for you. And that's another thing that I want to get across, is that the voice of our today is so important that we as filmmakers, on not the super duper high end of the movie spectrum, but the people that are here on the ground, the ones who are living through the stories, the ones who have a story to tell, have a perspective to tell on. Yeah, and I believe that there are so many stories out there that haven't been told or are yet to be told, and I would just like to encourage some of those to come to fruition. So that's basically that in a nutshell. So that show is going to be called A Pitch to the Ether. I'm going to host it for the time being, but like I said, I'm open for having guests and maybe a panel and seeing how this develops as a show, as a concept, because I believe that could be a really fun one. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that, and when Emil and I start the first one, then you guys will get an understanding of the concept and how the show will kind of be structured there. So yeah, I just want to kind of keep that short in terms of the announcement there. Where am I at? Because this is obviously my platform. This is my media space here. I just want to kind of give a little bit of a broad announcement of what's kind of going on in my world. I've been focusing a lot on advertising and corporate work recently, working with brand development and all this kind of stuff. And also communication. Communication is incredibly important in our field. Now, I'm not just a filmmaker. I wear many hats, as a vast majority of us do. However, in my case, I kind of take a senior role on some of these things, or kind of project management. So I'm not always behind the camera. So when I get a chance like this, for example, I feel really at home to be able to create this content and to be able to share my experience, but also to expand my level of understanding of how things work and operate and stuff like that. So my intention here is also to grow my channel and to grow my people that are around me and connected to this in the industry here, and also just get to know some more people within the creative space who are doing not just online content, but out there in the field doing some amazing work. And I would like to complement amazing work as we go along, and I would also like to be able to share what I do and how I go about things, but I'm not going to go into that right now. This is more about just sort of where I'm at and how I'm feeling, and how does this all mix in with the whole tidal wave of change and crazy stuff that's happening in the world at the moment. And I had a bit of not a dilemma, but an issue yesterday. I really wanted to get out a video, but I had audio issues. Now, that was my problem. I was just very excited. But I'm going to release that this evening, or at the same time I'm actually recording this content here. But I wanted to do it on the 7th of the 7th, 2025, and that was the intention of going 777, numerological stuff here. And I've just been getting into that kind of stuff, and it's fascinating me, all this spiritual stuff as well. Excuse me. So yeah, there have been some fantastic developments. For me, I've helped grow such a healthy and fantastic community of people around me, of people who really support me and support my ideas, as well as me supporting them and what they're doing. I'm connected to a small theatre group here of some fantastic actors, and I'm doing some nice little kind of cultural work with them, just to help that dream come alive. And I'd like to give a shout out to Håkan Smestad for being a legend and sitting with me for hours, and we're bubbling up some ideas and seeing how we can also do some creative projects together. And more on that later, but just a small shout out for him. Of course, to one of my good mates and business partners, Tony Jacobsen, or Jacobsen. I always get confused of how to say the name, because it's a little bit different here in Norway of how to say certain names. But Tony Jacobsen, he runs this company called Jacobsen and Svart, or Jacobsen and Svart. And Svart means black in Norwegian, for those who don't know. And I've just been supporting this brand and helping his brand grow exponentially. in the last year. Been doing some fantastic little cinematic adverts for it, been doing the brand development and all that kind of stuff, and that's just been so much fun and rewarding. And also, it's just so refreshing to work with good, positive people. And that's kind of like my direction of things, is just to focus on the positive, push the negative aside. There's not much you can do to the big external out there in the world, but just to focus on the positive and on the good people, and focus on just culture and creativity, and seeing how we can really grow from that. There have been so many things about so many issues about money recently, and there's been money coming, money going, and all this kind of stuff, and I'm just so like baffled about that whole financial energy type thing. And I don't want to get too much into it now, because I don't want to kid myself or any of you that I know what I'm talking about. I do not. I have no idea what's going on out there. However, the energy seems to be sparse. There's a lot of people that have very little energy or attention to give, and that's something that I'm hoping to turn around a little bit and say, hey, it is important that we focus on that local economy. And this was a conversation I was having with some people over breakfast the other day. I was photographing a wedding, probably about maybe 100 kilometers north from here. And I was sitting down at the table, and we were talking a little bit about the economic idea of things. And I got on a little bit of a rant because, there are some things that I really don't understand, and I don't even care to even try and understand. But I wanted to focus on the importance of community, but like the economy. Economy is completely separate to the finance and all that kind of stuff. This is some things we were also talking about between Tony and myself with some of these things. It's like, it's so important to be able to look after your local community and the people that are actually around you, the ones who are going to help you, in times of need and all that kind of stuff, but also just to keep the economy going. We can always think about the global, we can always think about these big things here, and I'm not going to dip into any conspiracy theories. It's not this platform for this, but it's more about talking from the creative aspect and the creative economy. And this is one thing that has always been a bit of an ebb and flow, and where do we get our money from, and how do we get funding, and how do we get paid for this, and how do creatives actually get paid properly for their work? And there's always this conundrum when it comes to these things. And sometimes creatives just find it a little bit hard on the business aspect of it, because business is dry, whereas creative is completely aloof and lost in the galaxy and all that kind of stuff. And I love going there too, but I also love the business aspect of it. And I just wanted to demystify that, not only for myself but also for my fellow creatives here watching this too. So the importance of economy is so good. So what I mean by economy is also about friendship, relationship. You've got to have that kind of collaboration. You've got to have that kind of local spirit where you are taking everything super seriously and making sure that you maintain relationships in a healthy way. And this is something that's super important. Like, you cannot bite the hand that feeds you. That saying, and it's so true, because if you try and start to cheat and all that kind of stuff, it's not going to go the right way. Now, I'm sure everybody's got their own kind of experiences and all that kind of stuff with these things, but I'm sure you will understand what I mean about the economic importance of the work that we do and what we're connected in. Like, I do believe that people like us, or people like me, that work in the creative industry, we're not just, we're problem solvers. We want to be able to enhance and grow and all that kind of stuff. And that's sort of where I'm coming from. Like, I'm not just a guy behind the camera. I'm thinking about all the other kind of valuable aspects to the business. So, for example, if I'm working with, the coffee brand, there's so many things that I've got to think about. There's photography, there's the creative direction, there's the filming behind it. You've got to work with actors, you've got to do the editing, you've got to find the music. and shout outs to all of my musician friends out there like Dario and Emil for doing some stuff, and Cosman, and various other people that I can't think of at the top of my head right now. But it's super important, because that's part of that economic thing that I'm talking about here. There's so many aspects of it, and then there's the business side of things where it's directly connected to that, and that's super important, that there is that respect and understanding between the business and that creative business. Because how are you going to get pictures? It's all well and good if you can take a good picture with your iPhone, and I'm like all for that if you're able to save some money when it comes to that. And I'm all about educating smaller businesses and helping them to be able to develop their brand alongside the assistance of myself and my team as well. That being said, it's super important to understand that we are also business entities too. Albeit some of us are not so good at the business side of things, and don't get me started about the accounting. But if we're able to maintain that level of respect and understand that hey, we're also people here living too within the world, it's got to not all go to the banks and all that kind of stuff, and like I still hear things. Not that it happens to me today, but I still hear stories of people going, well, you can do this job for exposure. If you're starting out, that's one thing. You do a couple of jobs here and there just to prove yourself. Great, all for it. And sometimes they're, even as professionals like myself, I do jobs out there for the love of it. Also for helping people get up if they don't have the money to get started with these kind of things, or to even afford like a professional cinematic video or photos or whatever for their business. If you can help invest in them and show them the value of this particular work that we do, and you do a good job and it's honest all the way through. You start with honesty, you continue with honesty, you create with honesty, love, passion. You want to see that you give love into your client, your customer, your friends. You will see that come back to you tenfold. I'm 100% on that. You'll see that come in tenfold if you work on keeping the relationships true, honest, real, and you put in the effort, you do the work. And that's so true. That's so true, at least for me. I don't know about your experience, but I'm pretty sure if you leave a comment and you say, hey, yeah, Patrick, that's true, you've got to start with honesty at the beginning of the day. I have this way now where I was reading a book called The 5 Rings by Masashi. I can't remember his first name, but anyway, he wrote this book called The 5 Rings, or it's 5 books. Very simple philosophy, but I really like the commandments of one of them. Is if you do not wake up with the honest thought in your mind to do the best, to be the best and be on the way, then there's no point getting up. You have to restart the way you're thinking. You have to meditate until you come down. And that's also one thing for me too. It's like I have come into a state of mind where I now think about how do I ground myself and how do I prepare myself for the rest of the day? How do I maximize my ability to be the best performing individual, even if I've got a massive headache, or if I'm sick, or if I've got my kid with me and he's totally taking up 100% of my energy and attention? I still have to be prepared for all of those things. And then all of the big lists and all this kind of stuff that I've got, like list after list after list. Tony actually laughs at me with this one. He goes, "You Australians are so funny with your lists." And you know what? I agree. I love my lists. I'm going to stand by that. If I don't have my list, the inspiration of the thought runs away. I mean, look at this. I pitched to the ether. Here, my handwriting on one of the hotel's notepads. Thanks, hotel. Thanks, yeah, I won't say the name. Yeah, man. I'm very excited for the future. I'm very excited for this next wave that's going to come crashing down on our world that we live in today. Like, I believe that some people are not prepared for the new influx of information and blah, 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 all this stuff that's going to be happening now. But you know what? I'm prepared for it. I'm ready for it. I've tuned my state of mind. I've tuned my my well-being. I have the good inner dialogue with myself. I have that positive outlook on life, and that's really where it begins. It's that perspective. It's that positive outlook that's absolutely vital, absolutely crucial, and I stand by that. And all of my friends, shout out to my friend Kaya in New York. Like I say, like you've got to be on the ball all the time. Like there's no dropping it. You know, things in life happen, yeah, but you've got to really be in control of your emotions. You know, there's like I've probably spoken with her about certain things. Kaya, what I'm saying here, shout outs, Kaya, what's up? You're doing amazing. And this is the kind of attitude that I possess here. Like, this is the thing. I want to see all of my people around me succeed. I want to succeed. I want to see all of my legends succeed, because I believe that they all deserve it. You deserve it. You fucking deserve it. I fucking deserve it. We all deserve it. We all deserve to win. We all deserve to have a piece of cake. We all deserve to stand in the spotlight and enjoy our time in our creativity, because what's life here for? Life's here not just to work for the grind, for the money. No, I believe that it's completely different to that. Money is an aspect, yeah, but it's not the main focus, no way. The main focus is to be able to create that piece of history that we stand in today, because we are here right now. We are members of this historical moment that we're living in right now, and everybody will agree with me on that. I believe it. I believe that we are the masters of our fate. We are the captains of our soul. We have to continue pushing forward to be able to get to the other side. And what's the other side? I don't know. But you know what? I'm going to damn well enjoy my time here right now, because there's so much to create. There's so many things to experience and so many great people to meet. There are so many people out there that I haven't met yet, and I'm looking forward to meeting you. And I'm looking forward to being that positive person, that creative light, that Patrick Webb that you will get to know. But yeah, I think, you know, my big statement that I want to say is just don't worry about the big things. There's nothing to fear. If you have that no fear attitude, and I'm not going to say that that's easy by any means. No, to not fear is not easy, especially for some of you may suffer anxiety or have depression and all that kind of stuff. That shit's hard. I understand that, but don't fear. Just do what you do and do it to the best of your ability. And as I say to myself every day, even if you do 0.00001%, that's still going in the right direction. You're still putting in the effort. You know, there are some days where I do wake up, I'm exhausted. I've got the headaches like crazy. And especially the weather that shifts here in Norway. Like, we had the last couple of months, I don't know where my head was at. I couldn't crawl out of bed sometimes. My head was that stuffed. But yeah, don't beat yourself up if you can't make that what you're dreaming of right now. Just know that it will be done if you keep on moving in the right direction. Just make sure you keep on building yourself, keep on creating, write down things, take photos, do things for the love of it. Don't just do things for the grind. Don't do things for the money. You know, the money will come. Let's say, for example, if you reach that creative potential that you dreamed of, you don't even think about the money, do you? You think about that moment that you're living in, that creative moment that you live for. And that's what you're living for. That's what I live for. There's nothing more magical than that moment where you're in that synchronicity. Say, for example, I'm talking about specifically here on the film set, where the actors are on point, the whole crew's on point, and you're in that magical moment of creation there. And you're fixated, for example, on the eyepiece, on the monitor, the screen, heck, even the performance itself, just standing there in the presence of creation. And there's nothing more magical than or honorable to be a part of that creation. And that is where I want to be. And that's what I live for. So I'm gonna wind it down a little bit now because I've been talking for 25 minutes, and I should probably go and relax because I've had a bit of a transporty day, and I've got some quotes that I need to write up, as well as some I got this thing. Actually, I'll give a shout out to Dario, you legend. Yes, I am writing up your budget thing. I've got it on paper right now. I've been looking for equipment and seeing what solutions are, because Dario and his sister and some other members down in Sicily at the end of this year are having an amazing concert, and I am doing everything I can to make sure that this happens and that we create that little documentary, Dario, and that we have that little concert down in Sicily. And I invite any of you other creatives to come down to Sicily and enjoy that, because I also have a desire, and this is my dark secret that I'll tell you right now. It's actually not that dark or secret. I love volcanoes, and down in Sicily there's Mount Etna, and they've been wildly active the last few days, and I've been dreaming or waking up from utter excitement that there could be a chance that I make a music video with a volcano, active volcano in the background with Dario. That would just be wild. Anyway, that's my inspiration. Shout outs to the legends out there, because you guys are awesome. You guys fuel me. I want to give out my deep respects to all of those people who supported me particularly in the last year. It's been a bit of a difficult last year, and for those who know. But those who don't, it's all good. Things are moving forward. I'm creatively strong. I feel the wheel of creating. I've just got it bubbling up inside of me. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to all the great things that are coming out. So I hope that I inspire you who's watching this to be a better creative, a better person, for yourself, not for me, not for anyone else, for you. Remember, you. But for also our economy, and doing things right for the right reasons. And you know what? Just to sign it off, I want to see TV shows and movies, or shows. Can't really call them these traditional things anymore because it's just changed the whole nature of it, and it's fantastic. But I want to see some positive stuff. I want to see some real cultural stuff. I'm working on a script right now for a lot slower cinema. I want to kind of explore that. And I'm actually going to bring that up in the pitch series that's coming up soon with Emil B. Anderson and yours truly, Patrick Dean Anthony Webb. There are a lot of things that I wish to see in the movement of cinema. I think I've seen a lot of, I watched some kind of Western flick the other day, and it just didn't sit well with me. It was too grotesque. It was too gory, and that's probably just me personally. I'm not into the horror theme and all of this kind of like dark energy stuff. I think that's it's not for me anymore. I kind of want a little bit more, just something nice cinema, something culturally significant. And yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it at that. My intentions are pure. I hope yours are too. And thanks for watching, and much respect and love for all of my creative people out there. Stay strong, stay true, and we'll get through this. And just remember, encourage one another, inspire one another, inspire the new ones that are coming up, inspire the old ones to keep on creating, because that's our duty. And that's it. Thanks for watching.